question number one, this is the partner test. If you borrow $12,000, or I'm sorry, $4,000 at a rate of 5% compounded monthly, how long will it take for the amount that you owe to be $12,000? So because it says compounded monthly, you use this formula. Now monthly, there's how many months are there in a year? There's 12. If it said weekly, what would N be?
52.
What if it said quarterly?
4.
N would be 4. What if it said daily?
6.
Okay, good. So 12,000 is what you want to end up with, and you begin at 4,000, and then it's the rate has to be in decimal form, 0.05, and there's 12 months in a year, and then you're going to do 12 times how long? We don't know. 12t. Now, I'd like to see that set up. How do you solve this? You're going to divide by 4,000 and you get 3. Just plain old 3. And if you add 1 and 0.05 over 12, you get 1.004, and then raise to the 12t power. Now this is where you're going to convert it into a log problem. It would be the log of 3 base 1.004 equals 12t, and then divide that answer by 12. And you guys all got this. It was 22.02 months. I'm sorry, years. Years. Somebody wrote months, and it's years. It's years. How many years? That would be nice if it were 22 months. If you could turn 4,000 into 12,000 in a little under 2 years, that would be awesome. I'd go there and bank. Okay, next one. You have a car. And in this, most of the time cars depreciate, but if it's an antique, then it goes up in value. So, because it says continuous exponential growth, you use this formula, PERT. So it starts off, the car is worth 18,000. It starts off with being worth 10,000, I should say. At the end, it's worth 18,000. And then the rate, we don't know. We're trying to figure that out. So we'll call it R. And for how many years go by from 1970 to 2014? It'd be 44 years. So now how do you do this one? Divide by 10,000, and you get 1.8. Convert this to a log problem. It'd be the log, and it's base E, 1.8, and then equals 44R, which this is just ln 1.8. Divide that answer by 44, and your answer comes out to be 0.013, but you move the decimal 2 places over, so it's about 1.3%. Number 3 and 4, all you do is type those in your calculator. Very simply, log of 9, you should have gotten 0.954. And this one, does anyone have trouble with typing that in your, it's just a simple calculator. Those are 2 gimme problems. 2 easy answers. Number 5, what you're gonna do, yes?
Are we allowed to use these wires?
Yeah, on this part, yes. Yes, absolutely. Now, see this problem right here? It's an E problem with a power. You're going to want to get this 1.7 out of there. How would you, what if it said 1.7 E to the whatever power plus 5 equals 15? What would you do? Just to show you.
Subtract 5.
Yeah, you would subtract 5. Always aim, you want to get this by itself. So in this case, you don't have to add or subtract, just simply divide. So I just want to give you another, because I obviously couldn't test you on every type of problem, but in case you see a plus sign or even a minus sign, you know that you have to get rid of that 5. So e to the negative x over 2, and 15 over 1.7 is 8.8, and then convert this. This is going to be the log of 8.8 base e, which is ln 8. Some of you guys will just go to ln 8.8, and then you have negative x over 2 is your power. So this you do on a calculator. This is just ln 8.8. Multiply that by 2 and then divide by negative 1. Your answer is negative 4.35. Now this one you can't do other than take the log, the ln of both sides. And it's 3x minus 1 equals ln 3 to the x power. So for this one, what you're going to do is bring your x in front, or you could actually, if you want to put the ln before the x, you can also do that. It's the same thing. So you can write 3x minus 1 times ln. I like to put my ln in front, because then when I distribute it, it's easier. You know what I'm talking about? You can do it that way. I forgot the 2. John. Forgot the 2. ln 2. So now at this point, I'm not crazy about these kinds of problems because they're decimals. You're going to get your decimals, and I got points for ln 2. I got 0.69, and if you want to round, I'm not going to squabble about that. And then this is 1.1, and distribute. You're going to end up getting about 0.7106ish. And answers vary because of the rounding process. So I will take into consideration, I'll look at your work and make sure you round correctly. Number 7 is a factoring problem. How do you factor e to the 2x? How do you break that up? E to the x, e to the x. And how do you factor negative 6? What times what is negative 6 but adds me positive 5?
6 and 1.
6 and 1. Negative 1, yep. Now on this side, when you set this equal to 0, what happens is you get e to the x equals negative 6. But when you convert this to ln, ln of negative 6 is undefined. So this answer you can't take the log, any log, whether it's natural or common, you can't have a 0 or a negative here. But now on this side, you can do this one. Now sometimes you can do both. So you might be able to do both on your test. So e to the x power equals 1, which is ln 1 equals ln log base, and this is the log base e, equals x. So, did I write that right? Minus 1 equals 1.
Yep.
It's e to the x. E to the x equals 1. Did I write that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now what's your answer? What, anything to what power is 1? It's 0. And if you can't do it, convert it, it's 0. Okay, you guys did awesome on this graph, awesome. What you want to first do is pull the 1/3 out. Hi.
I have this for Krogish.
Get out, we're recording.
Thanks, dude.
No problem.
So you're going to pull this 1/3 out, and I heard you guys talking, and some of you guys were not sure what to do, what number should be there, and it is a 3, because 1/3 times 3 is your negative 1. So this is the inside stuff that you do to your x value, and then plus 4. So how do you start this off? Well, you got to know what your base is. It's 3. It's 3 to the y power is x. So what you're going to do is start off, and I took off this last line on your test. So I only want, just give me 4. Just give me 4 x and y values. Make it real easy. So if you put a negative 1 in here, you get a 1/3, you get 1, you get 3, and you get 9. After that, sometimes it gets too crazy. So tell me,
Ooh, it's pink.
I know, it's pink. What would be your first math operation in doing this problem? You take this number and you do what to it? Flip it. And you multiply it by the x value. So x times 3. So if I took all these and multiplied them by x, by 3, I get 1, 3, 9, and 27, right? What do I do with my y's? You leave them alone for a second. Then you move on to this number. This is going to shift your graph 3 units to the right, which means take your x values and add 3 to them. So if I added 3 to all these x values, what do you get? 4, 6, 12, and 30. Keep your y's the same. Then what do you do with this in front? You multiply your y values by -2. These all get multiplied by -2, so you have a 2, 0, -2, -4. Keep your x's the same. And the last thing, so y times -2. Last thing you're going to do is take your y values and add 4. Add 4 here, you get 6, 4, 2, and 0. Now obviously this point is going to be too big, so really I looked for those 3 points. So over 4, up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 6, 4. And then 12, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. And it looks like this. Now, see this x minus 3? You are going to have an asymptote at x equals 3. So you should know that because the line cannot, your graph cannot cross that line. So it's going to be like this. It gets closer and closer to it, but will not cross it. And there is a nice picture. You have a dotted line for an asymptote, and there's your graph. Now, can you just tell me all the transformations you did on this? Sure. What did you do right here? This was a horizontal what? Stretch or compression?
Stretch.
Because it's a 3. Horizontal stretch by 3, then what? 3 units to the right. One group wrote 1 unit to the right. So it's 3 to the right. Then it's a reflection over the x-axis. Then what?
Vertical stretch by 2.
Vertical stretch by 2. And 2 up. I'm sorry, 4 up. 4 up. It's a plus 4. And now, look at your graph here. What's the domain? It tells you right here, the x values have to be greater than 3, and your range is always all real numbers for these. Easy? Okay, next. You guys did great on 2 and 3. You can all write this in exponential form. B to the c power is a, for that one. How do you write this in log form? The log of 1/8 base 2 is -3. This one you have to use your properties. You got to know how to convert a decimal or a fraction into a product, or you want to multiply or subtract. So how do you get a 15 with these kinds of numbers?
3 and 5.
So 5 times 3 is 15, and then 2. So what are you doing here? You're going to do the log of 5 plus the log of 3 minus the log of 2. So take these 3 numbers. The log of 5 is 0.6990, and you're going to add the log of 3, which is 0.4771, and then you're going to subtract 0.3010. And you should have gotten 0.8751. Next, these ones without a calculator, that's why you can't use a calculator on this. You have to be able to reason and get these answers. So, what you're going to do is tell me how to convert this. What's the base here? 10 to what power is 10,000? So get them in the same base. This is 10 to the 4th power. And what's x? 4. Now, what if I gave you a decimal, like 0.1? You guys know what 0.1 means? Means 1/10. So 0.1 is 1/10, and that's equal to 10 to the negative 1 power. So remember those decimals. Giving you some hints here. How about this? What do you know when the base and the number are the same? It equals 1. So this whole piece is really a 1. And what's 5 and 1?
6.
That was easy. Next one. What does this equal? Well, let's rewrite it. 81 to the x power is 27. I seem to think these two are base 3. Yes, they are. This is 81 is 3 to the 4th power, and 27 is 3 to the 3rd. This is a 1-to-1. Cancel those out. 4x equals 3, and x is 3/4. So that's what you're going to do. Next page. Number 8 was the most common errored problem in all the classes. Now watch how easy this is. E to the ln square root of x plus 2, this was one of your homework problems, by the way, is equal to what? Do you agree with what I just wrote? Equals
Yeah.
what? Convert this to log form for me. It's an exponential. Convert it to log, and I bet you get the answer. Convert it to log, using that question mark. Can you? What do you get? The log of something, base e, is equal to, that's an exponent. Right? What's another name for log base e? ln.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
So this is ln. ln of something is equal to ln. So what would this question mark have to be so these are the same?
X plus 2.
Square root of x plus 2.
Isn't that what we got? No, we only did one. Look, yeah. We got one.
Okay, can you remember that, guys? Rewrite it, rewrite it, rewrite it. That's the key, rewriting these. Okay, check out this one. What's another name for ln? Log base e, and then you have e to the negative 2 power. Well, what happens to this negative 2? It goes in front. And what do you know when you have base and number here the same? What does this equal? That's equal to 1, so what's your answer? Now watch this one. Do number 11. It's the same thing. Convert this to a fractional exponent. It's the same thing. I'm going to do 10 in a second. But this is the same thing. When these two numbers are the same, what do you think your answer is going to be? It's a 4th. Why? Because you bring this in front. That's our rule. It says a power you bring in front, and these, when these are the same, it's just 1. So it's 1/4 times 1. So the answer to 11 is 1/4. Go back to 10. Easy problem. What can't you have in this spot? A 0 or a 1. Can't be a 0 or a 1, so 10 is no solution. 9 was -2. Okay, now what about 12? Number 12. What is this 2 really with this 10? It's really 100, 10 squared, right? It's not 20, it's 10 squared. So you've got the log of 100, because 10 squared is 100, minus the log of 25, and these are both base 2. What property says subtract? Divide. What is 100 divided by 25? 4. And do you know what this is? 2 to what power is 4? What is it?
2.
2. So this answer is 2. Check this one out, 13. How do you bring these two together? It's a plus sign. What do? You multiply. You've got the product of 3 and 16/3. Well, what happens to these 3's? They're gone, they cancel. So you've got really the log of 16 base 4. Well, 4 to what power is 16? 2, that's another 2. Number 14, you've got 3 terms here. One is a minus and 2 of them are pluses. That means this term goes on top, this one is going on top, and this is on the bottom, the OT. Bottom. That's on the bottom, you know why? Because it's a minus. So I would toggle these around. So bring this next to this. That's a 2. Okay, what do you know about the 3, the 4, and the 2? What are they?
They're exponents.
They're exponents. So, can you bring them back where they go? This would be the log of, what's 4 cubed?
64.
Yep. And then this is gonna be log of z to the 4th, and this is gonna be log of z squared. Now bring them together. This is a plus sign, so we're going to multiply on top. 64 z to the 4th over z squared. What cancels? A couple of the z's. So your best answer is the log of 64 z squared. You get this? Okay, 15. How can you bring these first 2 terms together? They're both log base e, and it's a plus sign. So what are you doing here? You're going to add ln e to the 3rd xy. Now, remember above these problems right here? Who was this answer right here? What was that answer? -2. What do you think this piece is going to equal right here? 3. And you see that 3 there? They're going to cancel. But you got to break this up first. This is really ln e to the 3rd plus ln x, ln y, and then -3. So if you bring this 3 in front, 3 ln e, now they cancel. So what's left is ln x plus ln y. So this is really 3. 3 minus 3 is nothing. So your answer is ln xy. That should be your final answer for 15. Yeah, I saw some funny answers. I don't know where you got that. Back page, and we're done. Now, you guys did great on these equations. How do you solve any log or exponential? Most of the time, if you can't get both, if you can't get bases to be the same, or if you don't have the one-to-one thing, you rewrite them. How do you rewrite this? 4 to the, what is 4 to the -2? 1 over 16. Done. How about this one? Rewrite it. How do you rewrite that? 3 to the 3rd power, which is not 9. What is it?
X equals 13.
Subtract 1, get 26, divide by 2, and you get 13. Good? Okay. Now, this one is 1-to-1. Check this out, 1-to-1. See how you have a log base 4 here and a log base 4? You can cancel these out. And simply, 3x plus 1 equals 5x minus 9. Then do what? Subtract 3x, add 9, and what's x? 5. Number 23 is not 1-to-1. You have to rewrite it. 5 to the third power, which is, what's 5 to the third power?
125.
And then divide by x is 25. Now, number 24, are they asking you to add those two? What are they telling you to do? Multiply. So you're going to first condense this. Condense first. Condense this to be log of 4x, base 6. Now what? I saw x plus 4 on people's paper. What do you do next?
6, you convert it.
You convert. Now, why am I not going to cancel that out? Because I don't have one on this side to cancel. So 6 squared, which is 36, and divide by 4, and x is 9. Are they asking you to subtract here? No, they're asking you to divide. 24 over x equals log of 3, and these are both base 2. Now what do I get to do? Why? Why can I cross them out? Because it's 1 to 1. There you go. So 24 over x is 3. Cross multiply. 24 equals 3x, and what's x? 8. 26, what are they asking you to do? Multiply. So you've got the log of, and it's x plus 4 times x equals the log of 12, and they're both base 5. Now, bases are the same, I can cross them out. So you've got x squared plus 4x equals 12. Get a 0 on one side and factor. How do you factor negative 12 to get 4? X and x.
6 and negative 2.
And what's my answer? Why 2? Why not negative 6? This is extraneous. You can't take the log of a negative number. Throw it out. Don't put it on the blank. And the last problem. Something to the third power gives us a 64. What's that number? 4. And if you don't know, you could raise them both to the 1/3 power. So it's the cube root of 64, which is 4. We are done.
1 minute.
Do you have another blank one over there?